Hello, everyone, and welcome to Master Your Gear. I'm Marcia Alert, Director of Visual Journalism at the Dallas Morning News, and tonight we are joined by Genaro Arroyo. For over 14 years, Genaro has been teaching technical courses on cinematography, photography, and camera technology. He is currently the Senior Professional Market Specialist for Canon USA. Throughout his career, he has shot multiple music videos, short stories, and featured films, working with networks such as ABC, NBC, Bravo, and multiple production companies. Some of his client support include photographers and videographers from Los Angeles Times, Arizona Republic, Getty Images, Red Bull, MLS, NBA, NHL, and NFL. And with that, I would like to welcome Genaro. Welcome.
What's up, everyone? Nice to be here. So, see, there we go. Perfect. So thank you everyone for joining or for watching over this video. In today's video, we're going to be basically talking about utilizing in one of our mirrorless cameras or DSLRs as an actual webcam. And as you can see, I'm doing it right now. You can see the difference in quality, the lighting, the look. And for the next hour or so, I'll be going over a few of the basic setups, how we have it executed, how to utilize it at home, and how to improve upon it to basically the next step, to a little bit more to what I'm doing here. So without further ado, let me jump over to our little presentation here. Perfect. So the main features with EOS WebCam utility is, first off, you can use your Canon camera as a webcam. So we just added an extra functionality free of charge of a camera that you already were using if you're ready for photography and work. Now you can use it as a webcam. It gives you a better quality thanks to its larger sensor and better optics that are dramatically just larger and better than that of a built-in webcam on your computer or laptop or any of the portable webcams you can get there out there in the market. Also, it's free to download, so no extra purchase needed here. It is a free software that you can download off of our website, and it also works on both Mac and PC. And the only thing you really need most of the time is just a USB cable. For some of the cameras, the USB cable already came with your gear. For other cameras, not so much. We can always buy it later on, and we'll talk about which cables are needed on which camera a bit later on. And an added feature with the recent releases is you can actually record internally to a memory card while you're streaming. Now, that doesn't mean that as I'm doing this presentation, my EOS R is recording the slides and everything else. It basically means that it will just record whatever the camera is capturing. But be in mind, though, it will have that same 30-minute limit that most of our DSLRs have when you do record video internally. So some of the topics we're going to be covering today: basic setup, some recommended workflow. This one I'm going to spend a little bit more time on because it will also bleed into the next one with technical issues. Ever since we released the beta softwares and the official release of the EOS WebCam utility, I've gotten emails and phone calls saying, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, what could be the culprit? So we'll cover a few how-tos when you run into that scenario. And then finally, I'll end it with my stream from home setup. Ever since the lockdown with the start of the pandemic early last year, we've been doing, just like everybody else, multiple meetings and virtual trainings online, and we've been upgrading our home setups so that we can offer a better experience to our viewers like you. So first thing you want to hit up the list is camera compatibility. So as you look over this list, make sure you have a camera that's compatible with our software. Cool thing to know about this: this is the list that we were able to build up because these were the camera bodies that we had on hand during the beta testing during the lockdown. I've actually had a lot of individuals email me or reach out saying, hey, my very old Rebel that's not even on this list was able to work with EOS WebCam utility, or my older D series DSLR, etc. These are basically the ones that we can say that definitely works. But even if you have an older none on this list Canon body, it doesn't hurt to just download it and basically see if it'll still work or not. It's highly recommended to just give it a shot. This is on the list on the PowerShot cameras. So basically, we're looking at the G series and the SX. If you have any of these three bodies, will also be compatible with the software. And which meeting software can you utilize this plugin? Again, these are the list of softwares that we were able to test with the beta and during lockdown. I've had people come back saying other software has been able to grab the plugin or grab the signal for their own workflow. So again, if something on here is not on the list, doesn't mean that it won't work. We just can't promise that it will, but still give it a shot. So exactly what do you need? Well, first one being the cable. Obviously, we like to recommend the official Canon USB cable, which for the EOS R is the IFC 100U. Totally just runs off the tongue right there. And then also, we like to recommend the power adapter. So for my cameras, I have them running on AC adapter, mainly so that I don't have to worry about the battery dying out. Now, from my experience though, on the R at least, on a fully charged battery, I've been able to do a 1.5 hour long stream continuous without the camera dying on me yet, and maybe having a leftover 10 to 15 minutes, give or take your temperature in your room and stuff like that. But if you just want to make sure and that the battery won't die halfway through the meeting, I highly recommend to go with our AC kit. Now, to make it easier for a few of the viewers out there, we have made an EOS webcam kit for the RP, a few of the Rebel series, and the M series. Basically what they are is that it is a bundled USB cable, if you don't have it yet, and the AC kit all into one, so that you already have the camera, you already download the software, all you need are the peripherals. One little box has it all. So it's already out there in the market. Now, obviously, one thing I like to say is that you do not need to use the official USB cable. All right. I'm not sure if I can get in trouble with this, but it's a fact. And I like to be honest also. As long as it's a compatible USB cable that goes into the port of the camera and obviously into the port of your computer, Mac or PC, then it should work. This is where the first problem comes in when I get phone calls and emails, is when people tried the USB cable that came with their Samsung phone. For some reason, that one was one that popped up a lot, where the USB cable was really a charging only cable. It didn't send data communication. So if you already have a problem right there, it could be the cable itself. Going with our cable, there won't be an issue, but if you use third-party cables, just one thing to be aware of, it needs to be data and charging capable, not just charging only. I think I see one chat Q&A popped up. Must there something in there, or no? Before I continue.
Oh, you continue. Go ahead. It's just Stingray who's thanking everyone for joining us this evening. So just go right ahead and keep on going.
Copy that. Making sure.
Yep.
So we have that. So again, just keep that in mind. First technical issue you might have could be the cable itself. Later on, I'll talk about how you can detect that that's the issue. So after you have the cable, USB, after you have the camera, next thing obviously is to download the software. You can memorize that really easy to remember link down there, or you can just Google Canon EOS webcam utility download. The first few links on Google's or the search site will basically give you straight to our link. When you do go to our website, you'll see that we like to split the downloads by camera model. You want to select the one that you're trying to download for. Let it be a 5D Mark IV, Mark III, EOS R. If your question is, okay, so do I have to download the one for the R? I have an R, do I have to download the one for the R? I have a 5D Mark IV also, do you have to download another one for the 5D Mark IV? You do not. It's actually the same software across the board. We did it that way so that we know which of our users are using which camera for the software. So it's really more of an internal reason for us, so that we know that, hey, a lot of people are using, this body versus that one. Should we put more emphasis on that camera, stuff like that. But really, as long as you download the software, it will work with all of them. You don't have to download it multiple times. So don't worry about that. And once you do go to whichever camera body you want, it'll direct you to the software tab, and right down there, you will see EOS webcam utility, and that's where you download it. Once you download it, next thing you do after installation, of course, is placing your camera. So this is a simple setup that we've done with our kit, basically. This is an EOS R, I believe the RP actually, over a laptop using the webcam kit. So we have the USB going in and AC powered. So obviously you find a spot that works just with you. As you can see with this setup, it's right over the actual laptop, giving you that perfect angle. And then basically the overall workflow is pretty straightforward. Step one, you turn on the camera and place it in movie mode. So that's the big one right there where a lot of people forget already. You turn on the camera, but on top of the mode dial, you want to switch it to movie mode, not still mode, not automotive mode or auto mode, I mean, program, TV, AV. You want to put it in video mode. Step 2, connect the USB to the camera. And then step 3, connect the other end of the USB to the computer. And I like to do specifically in that order. I tend to have a good run of connection communication to computer once it's already hooked up to the camera first, followed by the computer. Now, step 4, if you have our software already pre-installed as a photographer, EOS Utility, which allows you to remote control our cameras with that same USB cable, it will pop up automatically on your PC or Mac. Close the software. It's this job that once it detects a Canon camera, it will turn on and start running its protocol. You actually want to close it before you continue the following steps if you do have it pre-installed. Then you go into your meeting software. So I believe with this screen capture off of Zoom, you select EOS WebCam Utility, and then you'll get a video signal. And then that's it. You're ready to go. It will be the same process using OBS or Teams or Skype or other basically video meeting softwares. Select EOS WebCam Utility in your video settings, and you got a signal. Now, when you do have issues, when I get those calls, is when they see a screen like this or like that. The first one with the USB icon, that means that it cannot detect the camera. The other screen with the camera icon and with the exclamation mark means that another software is using the plugin. So potential culprits, basically, what could be causing this? This is most likely is where you might have an actual wire issue, where you have a bad USB cable, the port on the computer is bad, the port on the camera is bad, so hence that'll be a service call, or you're using a bad USB hub. So obviously especially with the newer MacBooks, you have limited ports. You might have a multi-port USB hub to connect multiple devices to that one USB-C port. That hub might not be correctly powered, might not have enough energy or processing to get that video in from the camera. So what we like to recommend is go directly to a clean port straight to the computer if possible. That could be a reason why the computer is telling you, I don't see the camera, I'm not getting a signal, nothing is coming in. So next icon though is the next issue is, well, the good thing is I do detect the camera. I know that the Canon is connected to the computer and there's communication, but I can't grab the signal. And the reason for it is because something else in your computer grabbed it first. So let's say I open up Zoom right now and I see this icon. It's telling me that I have another software that beat it to the punch. It could be our software, EOS Utility. It could be Photo Mechanics, Adobe Bridge. It could be multitude of other softwares, even Google Backup. I just realized recently that has just gave us that little extra technical issue, because what all these softwares do is that they use that same Canon code to download photos from your camera. So if you have any software, and for professional press work, Photo Mechanic is the one I really want to show off, where you can actually tell Photo Mechanic to download anything I hook up automatically. I connect my Canon, I connect my SD card, my CF card. I want you to automatically turn on Photo Mechanic and download my images. That will override the plugin, giving you this error screen on Zoom. So you want to close those basically and restart Zoom and basically disable or just close those download when detects SD or camera connection. So that's what that little icon tells you. Now, if you see issue number 3, which tends to be the worst of the 3, where on your video settings, you don't even see EOS WebCam Utility as an option. So those two screens I showed you don't even appear because it doesn't even know that you have a webcam called EOS WebCam Utility. That's a different security issue on the computer. This tends to be more of a Mac issue than I've had any really in PC. On the PC side, this hasn't been an issue at all. But on the Mac, due to their newest OS systems coming out every 2-3 years, they increased the security protocol. And if we're a little bit behind on getting it approved from Apple, it will just boot off the plugin. It won't even let you enable it for its own purpose. So there is a workaround. It is called disabling the system integrity protection. And yes, it does sound important because it kind of is. So I'm not even going to show you how to do this. You can actually Google this on a legitimate website and actually tells you how to do it. It is what developers and programmers do so they can beta test software on the Mac, freely and do what they got to do. But if you're stuck in a bind, we've done this a few times ourselves, and then we enable it again. This little safety protocol, if our OS is giving us a headache due to the security protocol that they keep updating like every so often. So just one thing to be aware of. Again, you enable it, disable it at your own risk for specific Mac issues, for when you're the one that always update to the newest OS the second it gets released. So quick little FYI before we continue. I had this question earlier, actually, with Stingray. Audio through the camera, is it possible? No. The way you're hearing me right now actually is using an shotgun mic offside of the screen. If I was using a regular meeting, using headphones through my mic jack, using my Apple AirPods and stuff like that, would have totally worked. The camera can only send video. So even if you put a Sennheiser lavalier on your EOS R, it will not send that audio through that USB cable, only the video signal. The Sennheiser will have to be connected to another device or directly into your computer for the audio pickup. Next one, video resolution is set at about 1024 by 576. So it is not full 720 or 1080p. But as you can tell from just the actual color and detail, it's still a really clean image, way cleaner than even an HD webcam system. That's for sure. As I stated earlier, on one fully charged battery, varying on which camera you're also using, some will die sooner or later than the EOS R. But from my experience with the R, I can easily get about 1.5 hours during a full stream before the first battery dies on me. If you see black bars on the sides of the video, like it's not really 16:9 like it should be, that means that your camera is still in still mode. So that step one of turn on camera, put the video mode, you forgot the video mode part. So just keep that in mind. And if you have any more technical issues or you need guidance on anything that you might run into while trying to set up your own home rig, we do have an online support and tech community with our Canon community. So by all means, please do visit that on our website. The link will be on that same EOS webcam page for any future support if you need it. So my home stream setup, basically, right? This whole thing I have going on here. When the pandemic started and we knew that we were not going to fly for a bit, in my team, we're field-based, which means we're on a plane about once a month, if not twice a month, covering events, offering support, doing our thing. Well, pandemic hit and that wasn't going to happen. Everything was going to be virtual, online, and we had to still offer education and support and guidance all virtually. So we started building our own little set homes with whatever space we had. So for me, I went into my cinematography mode. I come from cinematography background before I got with Canon. So I kind of used that knowledge to kind of get something going in my house. So the first thing I wanted to decide was, one, find a room. I used one of my rooms here that used to be really for storage, complete mess. It's still a bit of a mess, but it's a lot better than it was before. I promise me on that. And basically, how can I make this into a studio or really a meeting room? First, you want to do, and the same thing at home. When you want to do this at home, is find out one place at home that you can kind of sit down and talk for people for an hour to 2 hours long if you need to for an online workshop. So the way I started was pick the room and also pick the background. In this room, I had two options. A lot of people like to do the first one, being flat against the wall, because you can then use the virtual background tool on all the Zoom meetings and Skypes and Team and just make it look like you're somewhere else. And that's fine. Okay. Or what I like to do is add some depth into my image, right? Actually get some depth in there, some story going. So instead of turning the camera towards the wall and me being up against it, I turn it around and shot towards the room, and had the camera just behind the desk. So that's the first thing. After I did that, the question obviously being picking a camera. Obviously, you can go with the old school mentality of a little webcam unit, but then I can now upgrade with the plug-in to an actual point and shoot camera, or even better, a mirrorless or DSLR with that bigger sensor. So to actually show you the quality comparison, we did that at the early stage. This is what the room looks like. No lighting at all, right? This is the normal lighting with the window off to my side with a webcam. Okay, looks like a webcam. This is with the G7X Mark III, a little bit underexposed. Later on, I changed it. And then EOS R. So this is with no lighting at all. This is literally just turning on webcam utility, plug in the cable, and turning on the camera. So as you can see, that bigger sensor, it's definitely helping with the look. So this is not me selling you on the soft light, box and microphones. Like, no, this is just the camera itself where it shows you what you're gaining. So again, as you can see with the comparison where I made the G7X just a little bit brighter in the aperture and the ISO, huge difference in quality between the three cameras. Hence, the affordable RP and EOS R are great at-home webcams now. So after setting that up, my next step from my DP mine was now I got to light this thing. So this is the original, and I wanted to make it look like this. And the way I tacked it was one step at a time. And when I like my sets on a movie set or on a short, I actually like, depending on the location, I actually like to start with the background. I like to control the ambience in the background, what I want to reveal or not reveal, because then I can easily just key and backlight the talent when we're ready for the blocking. And I did the same thing here. Here's the actual overall layout of that room. As you can see, this room is about 10 feet by 17 feet. I shot towards, the longer length so I can get more depth, so I can have, that drop off of focus happen a lot quicker. So the first things I did was add 2 lamps in the back. I went online, couldn't go out, obviously. I went online, ordered some 2 lamps. I put daylight balanced LED bulbs from Home Depot there because, daylight balance, I can get everything all locked in. Just to give us a little bit of luminance, just some feel, basically some characteristic lighting. That's really what it was for. After that, I blacked out my side window. Did that because I want to make sure if I'm doing a workshop or a meeting in the morning, afternoon, or at night, my lighting is consistent. I don't have to change my aperture and keep changing my camera or something else, depending if the sun is blowing inside the room or not. So I just black it out with a black foam core and taped it up against the wall. That's basically it. Next up, the softbox. So in cinematography and photography, a lot of you guys and gals already know this. The bigger the light source, the softer the light will be, right? That's one of the first things we learn in lighting class. So for me, instead of going out buying a very expensive softbox, and also because I didn't have one at the time and I had to get what was available online, I got this off-brand 40-inch octagon that's meant for strobes, for like a speed light, for some of our speed lights. The softbox cost me maybe about 30, 40 bucks, very affordable. Put it on a cheap little light stand that is never going to get moved. That's not pro at all. And inside is a 200 watt, also daylight balanced LED bulb from Home Depot. And I just clamped that bulb with a power extension in there inside the tent, the softbox, giving me this huge soft lighting. And that's it. I'm done. This whole box alone was probably about less than 70 bucks. A stand, softbox, and the bulb itself. And as you can see, you got the little camera right there on a very cheap little tripod, nothing fancy. So then I blast the soft light. I got my key light. And then after that, I added my little rim light to the side. So a little bit of a back rim light, and then a bit of an overhead light that's hanging above me that you don't see. Because again, I like to read key lighting, just key, little rim, back rim, still separation. And then at the end of it all, I get, my final look. So I go from no lighting at all, which still looks good, to more pro looking lighting. And the biggest comment has been from all my other meetings, especially this recent one we did for up and coming photographers at a East Coast high school. Biggest question was, how do you make your room look like that? It looks like a YouTube feed. And obviously that's the whole idea, right? Just want to make it look a little bit more professional when you're offering these courses and when you're talking to other individuals. Now, from there, what we needed though, we needed to upgrade to a little bit more than just that with the EOS webcam. We wanted to give multiple features. So we had to go with a few extra more expensive gear. Things like an A10 mini to allow me to do multi-camera switching while I want to do a workshop. Also a Focusrite, so I can plug in my lavaliers or my shotgun mic into the computer to hopefully offer a better audio quality. So things like that is what's allowed us to do a little bit more on giving just a better experience to the viewer. We use softwares like Manycam to enable scenes to create different type of shots. And also even a little stream deck I have here on the side to switch between the scenes. I'll show you that real quick. So that little stream deck right there, and using Manycam, I can go from this setup to back to me at all. And then this other setup I made in advance for another presentation, where if I have one of my colleagues coming into the shot, and we can have a dual conversation talking about whatever we're talking about. So that extra software and switcher allows me to do, stuff like that. So in a nutshell, I think I went a little bit quicker than expected. That's the overall use on using our EOS webcam utility software. Really straightforward. Just make sure that you have a compatible camera. You have that compatible USB that just works, and download the software. From there, you can just try it and see how much better our cameras can give you for all your online video meetings and trainings compared to using the onboard cameras on a laptop or a little webcam.
Now, is there going to be, like, let's say, are all your cameras going forward going to be compatible with that? If, let's say, a new camera comes out.
So thus far, like we've done that with the R5 and under other recent body releases where we've updated the software to be compatible with them as well. So thus far, it seems that is the case. But again, don't hold me on that. Multiple things will vary. But it is something that we want to continue supporting since the demand is there and individuals have seen the benefit. And we're really happy that we were able to add that extra functionality to our camera. So we're hoping that, yes, that future bodies will continue utilizing the software.
Awesome. If there are any questions from anyone in the audience, go ahead and ask them now. We'll get them answered. Anything at all. This has been great. I really love this, especially just that huge list of cameras.
Yeah,
that's all right.
And again, even if someone watching this, you have an older camera that's not on that list, I still highly recommend it. Download the software. It's free, so there's nothing to lose there. If you already have the USB cable, then give it a shot to see if it still might be compatible even with an older body that might not be on that list.
Yeah, I was surprised to see what was it? Some of those older Rebels on there as well. That was cool. I don't see anything. Marsha, do you see anything?
I don't see any questions, but Hanara, I want to start by saying thank you so much. That was really wonderful, really informative. You have shown me that I am doing my webcam situation all wrong. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to be doing better. So thank you for that. That's really, really just informative and helpful. I think in the last year, as we've all been doing so many Zoom camera events and meetings, anything we can do to sort of make our rooms, make our spaces look better. I think we've all been trying that, and you've just upped all of our game. So thank you so much for that insight, that wealth of information. It was really a wonderful, wonderful presentation.
On our YouTube page, actually, there's also the what was it? We have an EOS webcam playlist on our official YouTube Canon page, and if you go in there and search for "Stand Out," I think is the title. But basically, actually, it's in about a 10-minute video, 8-minute video that I did that actually goes through the actual line. So kind of what we talked about a little bit, but a little bit more
Yeah.
in detail. Actually,
Yeah.
every step, how I decorated it with putting up my prints on the wall. Like
Mhm.
literally, this room did not have this color, did not have my
Mhm.
work on the wall, or
Mhm.
that bookcase there.
It's
so
amazing.
yeah, I did some art decorating a little bit. It's like, okay, so we're stuck here for a while. Let's make this happen.
Let's make this happen. Well, that's wonderful. It's inspirational, and I'm definitely going to sort of be pausing this and figuring out what products I need and setting things up and playing with it. So thank you very much for that. I also see that we have your Instagram handle down here in the bottom. Are you on Twitter as well? Do you want to let folks know your Twitter handle?
No, really, just Instagram.
Just
I
Instagram.
just
All
like
right.
to post up photos that I capture.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, folks can always find you on Instagram. And again, I want to thank you so much for your presentation, which was great. I want to thank Canon tonight for their sponsorship.
Our pleasure.
Obviously, of course, of course. And once again, I am Marcia Alert. I am Director of Visual Journalism at the Dallas Morning News. And additionally, I am an NPPA board member. This event was brought to you tonight, not just with the help of Canon and Hanaro, but also with the help of the NPPA, which offers an invaluable resource tool to photographers, visual storytellers, MMJs. If folks are not a member of NPPA, I suggest that everyone look into it and think about signing up. In addition to these helpful tech learnings, such as Master Your Craft, there are also workshops, there are contests, there's all sorts of ways in which you can grow your community from where you are. As we've seen in the last year, the virtual community has become, frankly, all of our communities. So look into the NPPA, consider becoming a member, and know that there are a wealth of resources. In addition to everything I just mentioned, we also have a media lawyer who can help anyone who finds themselves in sticky situations, whether related to copyright infringements or related to working and covering protests. So so thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Hanaro, for your time, your insight, your wealth of knowledge. And thank you to the NPPA for just being an amazing resource to working visual storytellers. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.